Most people think attraction is loud. It isn't. The strongest interest often hides in silence, patience, and restraint. If you've ever wondered why someone younger seems interested but never makes the first move, it's not confusion, it's strategy. If this changes how you see attraction and timing, pause for 1 second, hit like, and stay with this because what comes next rewires how confidence actually works. When younger women rely on subtle signaling instead of direct pursuit, it's rarely about playing games. It's about protecting social and emotional safety in a situation where age difference automatically creates risk. Direct pursuit can expose someone to judgment, misinterpretation, or being labeled in ways that don't feel fair, especially when the other person is older and carries more perceived authority or experience. Subtle signaling becomes a smarter path because it allows interest to be expressed without putting reputation or dignity on the line. This shows up in behaviors that seem small but are psychologically loaded, like choosing to stay in the same environment longer, finding natural reasons to cross paths, or giving slightly more attention than necessary without ever making it obvious. These actions create an opening without forcing a reaction, and that space is where real evaluation happens. Instead of chasing, younger women often observe how someone responds to gentle cues, whether confidence shows up as calm leadership or as nervous overcompensation. This process filters out emotional instability before deeper attraction forms. Subtle signaling also flips the pressure dynamic because it lets the older person reveal intentions first, which feels safer than risking rejection publicly. There's power in letting someone else step forward because it reveals their emotional maturity, patience, and respect for boundaries. When someone responds with ease and grounded presence, attraction deepens naturally. When someone reacts with urgency or entitlement, interest quietly fades. This is why silence can feel louder than words in these situations. It's not a lack of interest, it's a test of awareness. Younger women often want to see if someone can read energy without needing everything explained because that ability signals emotional intelligence more than any confident speech ever could. In the end, subtle signaling protects dignity, filters character, and creates a safer path for attraction to grow without risk or regret. Patience, when it comes to attraction, often looks like confidence, but beneath that calm exterior lies a deliberate strategy designed to observe, evaluate, and measure before committing to any overt action. Waiting isn't about indecision, it's about collecting information and letting the dynamic reveal itself naturally. In situations where age differences exist, patience becomes a tool for assessing emotional stability, intent, and the way someone responds under subtle pressure. Younger women often use this patience to watch how an older person handles cues, boundaries, and opportunities to lead. Every glance held a little longer, every slight lean toward conversation, and every measured pause in response serves as data, not drama. By holding back immediate action, they shift the energy from impulsive attraction to conscious testing, creating a scenario where initiative can emerge organically. This careful observation allows them to gauge whether interest is authentic or performative, whether confidence is grounded or superficial. The act of waiting projects calm, which naturally attracts attention, but it also provides space for the older person to demonstrate awareness and emotional intelligence without being prompted. This is why patience often masquerades as self-assuredness. It's a visible signal of control while invisibly conducting a deeper analysis of behavior and intention. It is in this quiet tension that attraction grows because it forces the older person to show leadership, attentiveness, and stability rather than just responding to obvious signals. When someone responds appropriately within this framework, interest solidifies naturally. When someone misreads or rushes, the energy dissipates and attraction fades without confrontation. In essence, patience is both shield and magnifier. It protects the individual from unnecessary risk while amplifying the signals that indicate genuine value. This strategic calm isn't about waiting passively. It's an active engagement with the situation, reading subtle cues, testing timing, and allowing the other person to step forward, proving their readiness and compatibility without a single word of direct confrontation. Younger women often test emotional safety before testing attraction because genuine interest is meaningless if it comes at the cost of vulnerability or discomfort. In situations involving older men, there is an inherent imbalance of experience, confidence, and social perception, which means that jumping straight into attraction without evaluating the environment and intentions can feel risky. Emotional safety becomes the first filter. If this isn't established, attraction is never allowed to fully develop. Subtle cues, micro behaviors, and context are all assessed to determine whether it's safe to engage on a deeper level. A simple smile that lingers, an easy laugh at a light joke, or steady eye contact can all be signals of comfort, but the true test is in consistency. Does the older person's behavior remain calm and respectful over time? By observing without overtly engaging, a younger woman gathers information about boundaries, temperament, and reliability, ensuring that when interest is expressed, it's towards someone emotionally capable of handling it. This approach also reduces risk of misjudgment. If attraction is tested first and emotional safety is compromised, the consequences can range from embarrassment to feeling exposed or even manipulated. Waiting for reassurance through consistent signals allows for a gradual building of trust, which forms the foundation for authentic attraction. In essence, emotional safety acts as the gateway. Until it's clear that the environment is secure, no meaningful signals of attraction are sent, and what appears to be patience or subtlety is actually a protective and strategic behavior. This is why micro behaviors matter more than bold declarations, because they allow someone to gauge safety without committing fully, ensuring that when the move is made, it's towards someone capable of sustaining a mature and stable connection. Emotional safety testing is, therefore, both an internal calibration and an external signal. It communicates awareness, discernment, and intelligence, setting the stage for genuine attraction to emerge naturally rather than being forced prematurely. Micro behaviors reveal interest far more reliably than bold gestures because they operate below the level of conscious manipulation, making them both authentic and low risk. These tiny signals, like leaning slightly closer during conversation, subtle mirroring of posture, playful touches on an arm, prolonged eye contact, or even the way someone tilts their head while listening, carry more weight than dramatic actions because they communicate attention, curiosity, and emotional engagement without triggering defensiveness or pressure. Younger women often rely on these micro behaviors when interacting with older men because the social stakes are higher and overt moves can feel unsafe or socially awkward. Each small gesture functions like a test of awareness. If the older person notices, responds appropriately, and reciprocates subtly, it signals emotional intelligence and the capacity for attuned interaction. If it goes unnoticed or is met with discomfort, interest can be withdrawn quietly without confrontation. Micro behaviors also serve as a way to maintain control of the situation. By sending signals incrementally, they can observe reactions over time, assess consistency, and filter out those who are reactive, impatient, or unobservant. This creates a dynamic where attraction builds gradually rather than being forced, and it allows the younger woman to remain in a position of safety while still expressing interest. In addition, these behaviors communicate nuance, attention to detail, presence, and subtlety that often cannot be conveyed through words alone. The power of micro behaviors lies in their ability to convey multiple layers of intent simultaneously: curiosity, warmth, openness, and discretion. This layered communication makes them extremely effective in situations with age differences, where overt advances can disrupt the balance of comfort and trust. Ultimately, microbehaviors function as a sophisticated language of attraction. They reveal interest in a way that is precise, measurable, and reversible, giving younger women the freedom to express engagement while maintaining control over timing, boundaries, and emotional safety. They are the silent signals that speak louder than words ever could, shaping the dynamic without forcing any explicit confrontation or demand. Timing matters more than intensity because attraction, especially in situations with age differences, is a game of subtle pacing rather than forceful declaration. A bold, immediate move can backfire, creating pressure, discomfort, or the perception of neediness, while carefully timed actions create space for curiosity and natural engagement to grow. Younger women understand that when waiting for older men to make a move, it's not about how strong or fast the signal of interest is, but about when and how it appears. Every gesture, glance, or response is placed deliberately, not impulsively, to test awareness and emotional readiness. Timing allows them to observe reactions over multiple interactions, creating a rhythm that reveals patterns in behavior, reliability, and confidence. If signals are sent too early or too intensely, the older person may feel rushed or defensive, disrupting the balance of attraction and undermining the subtle assessment of character that patience allows. On the other hand, well-timed micro signals like a smile that lingers just long enough, a laugh at the right moment, or a pause that invites engagement act as invitations without pressure, giving the older man a chance to step forward naturally. This interplay of timing versus intensity also serves to magnify perceived value. Someone who appears measured, calm, and in control becomes more magnetic simply because their actions aren't desperate or exaggerated. By spacing interest strategically, younger women create a scenario where attraction can grow organically and where initiative is revealed through genuine awareness rather than forced effort. Timing ensures that attention aligns with readiness, making each move meaningful and reinforcing emotional safety. It's a subtle but powerful distinction. Intensity alone may grab attention, but timing governs desire, curiosity, and long-term engagement. Understanding the rhythm of interaction and recognizing the moments when a response is most likely to be met with openness rather than resistance allows attraction to deepen naturally without overt chasing or risk of misinterpretation. In this context, patience and strategic timing become more influential than any overtly forceful gesture could ever be. Power balance shifts when one side waits for leadership because attraction isn't just about desire. It's about who sets the tone and defines the pace of interaction. When younger women choose to hold back and allow the older man to initiate, they subtly transfer control of the dynamic without giving up agency. Waiting isn't passive, it's a conscious strategy that forces the other person to demonstrate initiative, confidence, and emotional intelligence. In situations with age differences, this balance is particularly important because older men are often expected, socially and psychologically, to take the lead. By creating space and holding back, younger women can observe whether someone rises to that expectation or falters under the pressure of subtle cues. Every action, from how he navigates conversation to how he responds to micro behaviors, becomes a signal of competence, maturity, and reliability. If leadership is demonstrated with calm authority, attraction intensifies naturally because it reassures that the dynamic is safe, stable, and aligned with what she is looking for. Conversely, if the older person hesitates, overcompensates, or responds impulsively, the balance tips and interest can quietly wane. This shift in power is not about manipulation, it's about clarity. By waiting for leadership, younger women allow the natural qualities of the older man, confidence, decisiveness, and emotional steadiness, to surface organically rather than being forced or assumed. It also reinforces respect and curiosity. Someone who steps up appropriately signals that they are worthy of attention, while someone who does not demonstrates limitations without confrontation. In essence, the act of waiting transforms the interaction from a simple exchange of attraction into a test of character and competence, making the eventual connection stronger, more deliberate, and more mutually aligned. The power is subtle, but it is real, and it amplifies the effectiveness of every micro behavior, pause, and glance. Silence is often a signal, not absence, because in the realm of attraction, what isn't said can communicate far more than what is spoken. When younger women wait for older men to make a move, periods of quiet aren't signs of disinterest or distraction. They are deliberate pauses designed to gauge awareness, patience, and attentiveness. Silence creates a mirror. It reflects how the other person responds when there isn't a constant stream of cues or prompts, revealing whether initiative, confidence, and emotional intelligence are present. Every unspoken moment functions like a test, measuring whether the older man notices micro behaviors, interprets subtle energy correctly, and steps forward with calm assertiveness. In these quiet intervals, attention becomes magnified. A simple look, a slight gesture, or the choice to engage becomes meaningful precisely because it occurs against the backdrop of deliberate stillness. Silence also reduces noise, pressure, and potential misinterpretation, allowing both parties to sense natural rhythm and timing. It preserves dignity and emotional safety while simultaneously creating intrigue and curiosity. In other words, these pauses aren't emptiness. They are strategic gaps that amplify awareness, create space for evaluation, and signal that interest exists, but only under the right conditions. The beauty of silence lies in its dual function. It communicates restraint while compelling the other person to reveal readiness, stability, and attentiveness. It turns observation into a tool for filtering, ensuring that when attraction progresses, it does so towards someone capable of matching subtlety, patience, and awareness. Those who misread silence as absence risk losing connection, while those who recognize it as communication gain insight, alignment, and the opportunity for attraction to deepen organically. This principle demonstrates that in nuanced interactions, restraint speaks volumes, and the quiet moments often carry the weight of intention far beyond overt expressions. Silence becomes the language through which compatibility, emotional intelligence, and authentic interest are most clearly revealed, making it one of the most powerful tools in the subtle dynamics of attraction. Reading cues beats forcing momentum because attraction is not a sprint. It's a carefully calibrated dance where awareness and timing determine success far more than effort or insistence. When younger women wait for older men to make a move, every glance, gesture, pause, or micro behavior becomes a piece of information about intent, confidence, and emotional maturity. Instead of pushing interaction forward prematurely, they observe these cues to understand whether interest is genuine, whether boundaries are respected, and whether the other person can handle subtle dynamics without being prompted. Forcing momentum by rushing conversations, making overt advances, or over communicating interest can create tension, discomfort, or even a sense of neediness, which undermines the natural flow of attraction and risks closing the door before it's fully open. Reading cues allows attraction to grow organically because it aligns actions with receptivity, ensuring that every gesture and interaction lands in a context where it is welcomed and meaningful. Younger women rely on subtle signs, the way someone leans in, the timing of a smile, a pause that invites conversation, or the consistency of attention over multiple encounters. Each cue is a signal, a small window into intent and a test of whether the older person can respond with awareness rather than impulsivity. By prioritizing observation over action, they create space for emotional intelligence to emerge, for leadership to reveal itself, and for genuine curiosity and desire to build naturally. This approach shifts the dynamic from chasing to being recognized, from trying to create attraction to letting it manifest through informed choices. In essence, reading cues is both protective and empowering. It preserves dignity, filters out unsuitable behavior, and ensures that attraction develops in alignment with character and awareness rather than being forced or artificial. Those who understand and respond to cues demonstrate readiness, patience, and emotional presence, making the eventual connection stronger, more deliberate, and more mutually fulfilling, while forcing momentum risks breaking the subtle rhythm that allows attraction to deepen authentically.